Confident and masculine, I step into the stadium. Eyes wide, time flies, life like palladium. Value in the moment that be fleeting in our face and then they gone. Just before you reach your goal, they call you back home. Alone for the second time, helpless by yourself and crying. Died 1,000 times on the inside. While life was stinging and slinging, I hear somebody. Hey, what's good, LBK? This is Robert Jenkins coming to you again with the latest episode of the FocusLBK show. I believe we are working on episode 24, if I am not mistaken. It is good to be in the studio, getting ready to holler at y'all during the upcoming week, man. Thank you for including us into your daily schedule. You know, we have a lot of stuff in store for you. First thing we're going to do is get into what's going on. But before we get into that, I want to say peace to the east, all my best to the west. Well, of course, to my folks up north and all the folks down south. I better hush my mouth, because all I'm doing is talking about Lubbock. Yeah, once again, folks, we got a ton of stuff. We got a smorgasbord of activities going on in the LBK. It's funny, man. They always say Lubbock is boring. Ain't nothing going on in Lubbock. And I tell you what, to be a boring little city with nothing going on, we sure have a ton of things going on. I think what it is we just don't be knowing about it, and that's why we try to open up the show and tell y'all about everything that's going on, because we get tired of hearing that old played out refrain, ain't nothing going on in Lubbock. There is too something going on in Lubbock. Check it out. For example, we got Black History Month celebration, Generational Legacies, coming up this Saturday, February 24th at 2 p.m. That's at the Patterson Branch Library. Of course, Teresa and her crew going to be making it do what it do. And also, yours truly, Robert Jenkins, is going to be in the show. I'm going to be filming the show, but also in the show. I seem to be doing that a lot lately. But I'm going to be presenting a music video of sorts, an educational, funky little hors d'oeuvre of facts, figures, and moving pictures. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all enjoy it. I really urge y'all to come on out, man, because we looking forward to this. We're going to film it. We're going to put it on the TV channel, the City of Lubbock TV channel. And it's going to be the Black History Month celebration, celebrating generational legacies, 21st annual African American history program. 21st annual, man. I keep on getting caught up on that. 21 years they've been doing this. Anyway, that's over at the Patterson Branch Library. It's going to be Saturday, the 24th at 2 p.m. Now, that same Saturday, February 24th, from 12 to 7, the East Lubbock Art House is going to have a nice little program going on called the Black and Brown Art Market. So I think it's just what it sounds like, black and brown folks selling art. Some kind of way we're going to have to get over there after the show, because I like to buy art. I'm surrounded by art here in Moonmine Production Studios, and man, I just art and pictures, man. I call them my talismans. You know what I'm saying? And my favorite pieces of art, my favorite family members, and historical pictures and stuff on the wall, man. That just helped me ward off the bad and open up to the good. That's the way it feels like to me, anyway. Let's see. The week after that, after the Black and Brown Market, which is February 24th at 12 p.m. over at the East Lubbock Art House. The East Lubbock Art House is also going to be having a wellness workshop. Parenting skills, free and open to the public. Dinner, wellness kits, and literature available to the first 30 attendees. So you better be there at B Square sharp at 6:30. You want to get one of them packages. That's the wellness workshop at East Lubbock Art House on Wednesday, February 28th. It's all about parenting skills, looks like. In addition to that, on March 2nd, no, let's go back to this, because on March 1st, the East Lubbock Art House, man, I'm telling you, they got a plethora of stuff. They got an artist internship program, and the deadline to apply is March 1st at 1:59 p.m. Okay. And it's $12 an hour. Artist internship program. I don't know exactly what that is. I think people that are artists probably know. No experience. Oh, I get it. They're asking for artists to come join and help work at the East Lubbock Art House. I believe that's what it is, because they want you to apply for their artist internship program. Deadline to apply is March 1st at 1:59. Oh, you know what? It says at 11:59 p.m. So that's deadline to apply March 1st at 11:59 p.m. Not 12. 11:59 p.m. and it's part-time and no experience needed, and it pays $12 an hour. So better go register for that. Dang, March 2nd, the East Lubbock Art House has their Art and Activism Leadership Workshop. Learn about using creativity as a tool for change. And the fee, get this, is pay what you can. Lunch and snacks will be provided. That's March 2nd, 12 to 4 p.m. Art and Activism Leadership Workshop. Also, on March 2nd, 2024, they're going to have the Dreams to Reality Fashion Show presented by Chosen One. And man, looks like the doors are going to open at 6:30. It's free. Live fashion show starts at 7:45. Food will be available. Don't sound like that's going to be free, but it's going to be available. Bring your pocketbooks. Dreams to Reality is the fashion show put on by Chosen One, March 2nd, 2024. And it's going to be at 7455 West 19th Street. That's 7455 West 19th Street. Also, after that, on April 6th, they were going to have the Stop the Violence Youth Violence Conflict Resolution Seminar. That's a Youth Violence Conflict Resolution Seminar. Stop the Violence. Because we headed for self-destruction. Y'all remember that? Help self-destruction. Got to stop the violence. Anyway, April 6th, May Simmons Community Center. Y'all know where that's at. You invited to join us at the Youth Violence Conflict Resolution Seminar. They also have a braid camp. It's coming up on March 16th and 17th. I talked about this last time. We're talking about some of these things quite a bit because we're trying to give y'all that heads up. Trying to get y'all out to these events. You know what I'm saying? We like to go to as many of these events as we can, and we like to see as many of y'all out there as we can. But anyway, this braid camp coming up on March 16th and 17th. Ages range from 11 to 17. They're going to basically teach you how to start your own braid business, because they're going to cover all kinds of stuff like how to braid, stitch braids, knotless braids. It's going to be how to set your price, figuring out your technique. It's going to be Bible study. Looks like it's $100 deposit. It's 2 days of braids and Bible study, March 16th and 17th. The location is to be announced. It's at least according to the flyer that I have, but we got some time on that because it's March 16th and 17th. So y'all stay tuned. March 16th and 17th for that, for that hair braiding, braids and Bible braid camp. Of course, East Lubbock Art House on March 7th is putting on a grant writing workshop. That's going to be 6:30 to 8:30. Pay what you can. That's a grant writing workshop. I probably need to go to that, and it's going to be at East Lubbock Art House. They just got too much stuff going on over here. Spring Break Art Camp at East Lubbock Art House. Unleash your creativity and learn about murals, street art, digital art, and photography. March 13th, 14th, and 15th. It's free, ages 12 to 19, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on March 13th, 14th, and 15th. It's the Spring Break Art Camp. Man, and you know what? It's been a year because the Walk to End Racism is coming right back up. I think it's going to be the second, third, fourth annual. It doesn't say on here, but they want you to support their anti-racist program, and that's the East Lubbock Art House doing that Walk to End Racism again. We took some real fun pictures at the last one. Had a good time hanging out with everybody. I think we made up a video about it too, but that's how you know it's that time of year again, because it's going to be, it doesn't have a date in here. It just says Walk to End Racism, March something, 10 a.m. to 12:30, East Lubbock Art House, 405 MLK Junior Boulevard. All the stuff they got going on, man. There's other things going on in the city of Lubbock. For example, this evening, and today we're recording this on a Sunday, but we're going to the Black History Month Martin Luther King Jr. event, and it's actually over there at Lions Chapel. If you're hearing me talk about this, you already missed it, but you know we're going to do a dope recap of it, an article talking about exactly what it is. We actually went to, last night, Saturday, went to a reception that was actually hosted by the Roots Historical Arts Council, and it was held in honor of Mr. Gerald Rivers and company. There's another gentleman with him whose name escapes me at this moment, but man, they are both some super talented brothers on the microphone. Mr. Rivers does the Martin Luther King, he does word for word recitations and reenactments of Martin Luther King speeches, and his partner can sing, and we caught him last night, but later on in the show, we'll play the little excerpt from what we went to last night, which was the reception over at the Roots Historical Arts Council. But yeah, it was a really good time. And like I said, stay tuned, because later in the week, around Wednesday, we're going to have a real good recap article and multimedia presentation put together, because how we do. We keep everything mixed media. We don't just come to you with pictures. We come with pictures, video, words, audio, dreams, memories, dreams, reflections, all that good stuff like that. I don't know if y'all read that book by Carl Jung, that Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. But anyway, yeah, we're going to be coming with that later on this week. And, it's funny too, man. I guess it's kind of like words. It's kind of like the theme for, I guess, today's show, because we were out there, and this whole event that's coming up is going to be about Martin Luther King's words. So basically, all these years later, it's over 50 years later now, Martin Luther King Jr.'s words have changed the world. How many other people do you know whose words have changed the world? There's plenty of people whose words have had an effect on our world. And it's different too. It's different people. I mean, everybody from Jesus, but of course his words had an effect on this world. It tripped me out when I'm reading the Bible, and some people say they don't think Jesus existed. There's a whole school of thought about that. But when I read the Bible and I read some of the smart mouth stuff Jesus said, because he'll say some stuff that would hack even the most jaded observer. You know what I'm saying? You say that I am. Yeah, he kind of got a little mouth on him. You know what I'm saying? But that was the whole point. He was sent to us with a message. So of course his words are, well, words to live by. Then you have Martin Luther King. You have Malcolm X. You have John F. Kennedy. There's a lot of people who have made a lot of speeches and done a lot of work with their words. I remember one time back in college, I was talking to a young lady. I ain't gonna say her name because she didn't say she wanted to be on the show, but this beautiful young lady I used to holler at, and we was talking about something one time, and I was trying to spit my little non-game on her. My game is non-game. I act like I ain't got no game, and that's my game. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about poetry and words and stuff, and I said, well, words have power. Talking out my neck, sorta, but not really, because words do have power. So it's like I was saying, it's game, but it ain't game. It's real life. Words do have power. And, as a poet and as a multimedia content creator, I'm constantly aware that words have power. Look at the words in some of our songs. You know what I'm saying? That made me think about and I'm a hip hop junkie. I'm one of the original hip hop heads, because I remember when it wasn't no such thing as hip hop. You're talking about words, but look at the effect that words can have on us. People say, oh, it's just music. It don't matter if it's negative or positive. But I used to think that. I used to try to make excuses for hip hop. But man, I don't think it's tenable for me to keep saying that anymore. I think it's pretty abundantly clear that words do have power, and the things that you subject yourself to verbally, or the things that you are subjected to verbally, can have or make a great difference in your life. They can have quite an effect on you. You know what I'm saying? Which is a trip, because if that is the case, and it's seeming like it is to me, but if that is really the case, then it seems like we have to be careful what words we use. We have to be careful what words we use. We have to be careful what words we take in. So I don't know, man, if you're sitting there listening to negativity, does that not become a part of your sonic DNA? It really becomes part of your internal soundtrack when you steadily listening to negative words, negative phraseology, music with language in it that I'm getting to the age now where I'm ashamed to listen to it if my family in the car. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I've been at that age for about 10, 12 years now. It's just getting worse and worse. And now I'm in the car with my family, man. It's just can't play stuff. And my kids is grown. I know they listen to worse stuff than that now. Most likely when I ain't around. That's just the real life reality of the situation. But We're talking about words, though. We're talking about the importance of words, because that's what it's all about, man. When you look at Black History Month, we talk about Martin Luther King and his words, Malcolm X, his words. You're always seeing quotes from our leaders. But my question is, how many times how well do we know what our leaders really said, and how often do we take to heart what they did say? Some of the stuff, like Jesus, Jesus, Cole, he say some stuff you feel like you definitely can't even live up to. He said, if you just look at a woman, you have committed adultery in your heart. If you just lusting after a woman, that's some harsh words right there, man. That's why people feel like they can't live up to it. I wonder, is that part of the power of words? They have that power to make you live up to them, or that power, if they're overwhelming for you and too powerful and too direct, you shy away from them because you don't want to face the facts that those words are portraying. This is part of the power of words, law. That's what we're talking about. Spoken word, folks. I mean, right now, if you listen to this podcast, you're listening to a spoken word. Podcasts basically have taken over the slot that used to be filled by radio. Nowadays, it seems like radio, to me, ain't even worth listening to, because they play the same handful of songs over and over again. And I find, I know, I'm older, getting older, and I don't want to be like that old man, get off my yard type of feeling. My music was better back in 1988, but it was. No, I'm just it seemed like music was in some ways better back in 1988. Now I'm starting to really believe that half the music we listen to is probably produced by artificial intelligence, because it all sounds the same. Now, it's true, music used to sound the same back in them days too, back in my day, because you go back and listen to anything from the, say, 87 up to about 92, it's going to have that same similar New Jack Swing drum beat, the same, it's all going to be, yep, doom, 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 doom. Of course, that's because Teddy Riley and cats like that was putting a sonic imprimatur on the airwaves everywhere. But it is about, it's about words. The power of the spoken word. And like I say, maybe it's one of those things where, as people nowadays, we need to police what we hear a little more carefully. Using that military terminology, you go out and police the yard. That means clean it up. You know what I'm saying? You police the area. That means you just make sure ain't nothing untoward going on. You policing what you listen to just means you gatekeeping. Can't just let everything into your head. Can't just let everything take up space in your thoughts. You know why? Because your thoughts can lead to action. In fact, the basis of any action is first a thought, a feeling, an emotion. What are we thinking? We think in words most of the time. You thinking in words. That's why certain people out there have realized that you have to weaponize words. They make words that as soon as you speak them, they automatically bend your thought process to a certain way, a certain manner of thinking, which is called a certain perspective, a certain philosophy, a certain ideology, certain words. I mean, you hear it all over the airwaves and the internet, and every platform you listen to, they speak in certain words. And when you hear strange combinations of words that you haven't heretofore heard before, realize that that's somebody crafting those words purposefully, making those words. What are they doing? They spelling. How do you make a word? You spell it. You compose it by putting letters together. That's called spelling the word. There's an intricate connection between spells and words. And when you hear those real strange combinations of words and things that stand out to your ears and tickle your mind and your funky emotions, as Redman used to say, just give a thought sometimes that maybe you are hearing a spell spoken. When you using jargon, othering people, they say othering people. That's a way he's othering me. That's one of them spells. You know what I'm saying? Black Lives Matter. That's a spell. Because it automatically creates dissension and division in your mind and in the mind of all hearers. Because right thinking people say, of course Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to say that. That's stupid. You're trying to force me to say something. Other people think, no, you must say Black Lives Matter, or that means you're a racist. See how that's automatically divisive? It's automatically got a power or a potential for power, which is the potential for action in it. That's what words power is. And when you hear specific combinations of words, like I say, think to yourself quietly sometimes, oh man, these are some weird combinations of words I'm hearing here. These things have been wordsmithed. Wordsmithed with two F's. When you hear wordsmithing, that's meant to make you think a certain way. Why do they want you to think a certain way? Because they want you to act a certain way. That's all I'm saying. Words have power, and both sides use it. All sides use it. It ain't no both sides. It's all kind of sides out there, and all of the sides use wordsmithing. But just be conscious of, when you start hearing them, when they start tickling your fancy and tickling your eardrums with some of these words, is that a spell? What is that? What is that? What is that particular word combination making me think? What is it making me feel? What action do I feel subtly or not so subtly influenced to take after hearing certain phrases and certain phraseology and certain word combinations, certain spells? Martin Luther King, going back to what we were talking about, was an expert orator, and having done quite a bit of research on him, doing different films and stuff like that, I found some of his early stuff, and then I found some of his later stuff. And when you compare them, you can tell he was practicing. He was working on his word craft, his wordsmithing, his speaking abilities. He was working on his ability to, in the words of Pink Floyd, deliver that softly spoken magic spell. His weren't usually softly spoken. You know how I've seen the mountaintop, painting them pictures for you. You know what I'm saying? I may not get there. I was one of the things that I was listening to his style, his oratory style, and he talks really slowly. I mean, I've made 2 or 3 little short films and marketing pieces with him in it, with his voice in it, and it's to the point where you have to cut his words up and take the spaces out and put them together because he talks so slow. You can tell it must be designed to make you linger on the power and effects of his words. See how you was hanging on my words just now when I slowed it down? That's a choice. That's a mechanism that you use to give your words power. And Martin Luther King was a master at it. Malcolm X's style was like more incisive and quick, rapid fire. You know what I'm saying? We didn't fall on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock fell on us. He said, you don't catch hell because you a Mason or an Elk. You don't catch hell because you a Democrat or Republican. You don't catch hell because you whatever. You catch hell because you a black man. That's Malcolm X talking right there. See how incisive his delivery style was? Like, compared to the slow, deliberate, painfully slow sometimes, deliberate delivery of Martin Luther King. Just a study in contrast, a study in opposites. Even the men themselves were opposites. Martin Luther King looked like he was average height or shorter, fairly brown skin. Malcolm X was 6'4", red skin with red hair, gray eyes. It's a study in contrast, just like their speaking style, the 2 men were too. But you listen carefully to the words that people use too. They clue you into what they want you to do. Like I was saying earlier, some people are always talking about using the government to do this, use the government to do that, vote to do this, vote to do that. Those are people who wish to corral your inherent energy with their words and focus your action and energy in a particular way to get you to vote for them. That's one of the things that words can do. When people want you to do something for them, they sure know how to form them words into weapons. You know what I'm saying? And, you just got to be on the lookout for that. Now, here on the FocusLBK show, we're cognizant of all those techniques, but we ain't trying to employ them. Or if we are trying to employ them, it's to make the show more informative and more entertaining. But we don't really have no agendas here. I mean, our agenda is to draw attention and focus to Lubbock as a city, but also to the east side as in particular. But we have our own point of view. Then again, there's more than one person on this show, and everybody has their own point of view. So that's why I think it gets difficult for us to start using words as weapons. We use words in the sense of, hey, let's elevate the conversation. Let's talk about things that we don't get to talk about. Let's look at things from a different perspective that maybe we didn't consider before. Let's analyze the common perspective that everybody already has and see what that means and what it's about. That's kind of the way we use words on this show. But yeah, man, it's just, it's all about words. There's an old song by Tom Tom Club, a wordy rapping hood. She say words on paper, words in books, words no more something dirty looks or something. A ram sam sam, a ram sam sam, goody 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 goody, and a ram sam sam. Y'all remember that song? Y'all know y'all remember Genius of Love. Dun, 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 boom, 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 boom. Who needs to dance when your feet just go? Well, that's the same group. Tom Tom Club got a song called Words. Wordy rapping hood is what it's called. It's all about words today, man. You know, y'all sitting here thinking, what is this dude talking about? He rambling on about words and stuff, but really I'm talking about the power that words have, the power of the spoken word. It's what we really getting after here today. And I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down. If I'm putting down anything worthwhile, I guess that's the first thing we need to worry about. But yeah, man, as we move forward and go into this end of Black History Month there, think about the words of your elders. Think about some of the words that you're hearing. Think about the message, the power behind those words. Ask yourself if you are hearing all the words that you need to hear and thinking about those words in the proper manner. One of the things about words is you always have to consider the time in which they were spoken. Sometimes really talented speakers who have, I would say, divine force behind them, their words echo into the future and they still be applicable. So be on the lookout for all that. Consider words, the time frame in which those words were originally spoken, but also consider if they resonate with you today. Consider if you're hearing words that estrange, entrancing combinations. Think about carefully if you're hearing strange combinations of words put together in a way that enspells and entrances you. If you are, that's done on purpose. Most likely, unless it's just a gift. Sometimes people have the gift, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you hear that kind of language and it's catching your ear like that, you can bet your bottom dollar it's word smithed, meaning put together in a certain way, meaning it's composed in a certain way in order to achieve a thought process or an action within you. In other words, it's a spell. He crazy. He talking about spells. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Silver tongued devils be out there weaving spells, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, listen for them magic words and them spells, them weird words you ain't never heard before. Where people are always talking about stuff like patriarchy, social construct. When you hear people talking like that, those are wordsmithed words. And they come on both sides of the aisle. These are the words that I'm thinking of off the top of my head right now. But they come on both sides of the political divide. Some people call them dog whistles. Sometimes dog whistles. I don't personally worry too much about them because I ain't no dog. You know what I'm saying? You can't call me by whistling. I'm a man. I think for myself. So dog whistles don't necessarily have any effect on me, but I am aware that they may exist. And sometimes somebody might be accused of using a dog whistle, and it might just be them expressing their idea. Sometimes dog whistles are constructed in the minds of the hearers, not necessarily constructed purposely by the speaker of those words. Anyway, just things to consider, man. It's all about words. We're going to close out today, speaking of words, reminding you guys that we love, and it is part of our mission to collect and preserve the words of the elders. So if you have an elder, or if you are an elder and you know somebody whose words need to be preserved and collected, please let us know. We do these words from the elders recordings. We do them free of charge, and we'll come to your location. Just hit us up at 806-642-0949. That's 806-642-0949. I say 0949. Yeah, just hit us up. 806-642-0949. That's Moon Mind Productions. We not only do all these oral history, but they are the driving force behind the Focus LBK show when it comes to all of the content creation. All the digital content you see on this show and all the stuff you hear on this show is handled by Moon Mind Creative, www.moonmind.com, or 806-642-0949. Anyway, give us a call if you need some of this digital content that we serve up. Also, Lubbock, man, y'all just have a good time. Get out there and peep out the words of our ancestors, words from the elders that will be no doubt pervade to us during these last couple of weeks of Black History Month. Today is the 18th that we're recording on. You'll be hearing this show on the 19th, and there are plenty of things coming up, including that Black History Month event over there at the Lubbock Public Library on 24 February at 2 p.m. Plenty of other events like that where you can get out and hear some of the words of the elders and get some of these inspirational words on paper, words on books. Wordy Rapping Hood. I think that's gonna be the song for the week too, man. Y'all bump this while y'all peeping this article out. Bump that Wordy Rapping Hood down there. And on that note, we're gonna say peace, because it's time for us to get out of here. We got a little something to go to later on today. That's that Martin Luther King event over at Lions Chapel. So we need to get on out and iron our clothes and shape our beard up and stuff like that and get ready. We can go on out there and peep this out. So y'all take it easy, and we'll let you know what it was all about coming up on Wednesday. All right, Lubbock, y'all take it easy. Peace. In our face and then they gone. Just before you reach your goal, they call you back home. Alone for the second time, helpless by yourself and crying. Died 1,000 times on the inside, while life was stinging and slinging. I hear some bells tinkling.